I made a bowl. My name is Steve Mills. I had a piece, I was cleaning off my workbench, and I had a piece of wood that I had cut a couple of months ago with a chainsaw, and it was ugly. I used the rest of it for another bowl, and I just about threw it in the real scrap pile just to get rid of it. And I said, well, you know, if I take that point off, I bet I could fit that between centers. So I made a candy dish out of it. Beautiful. Nice fire.
Hi guys, Barb Kennedy. So you know those moments where you have something you have to do in the shop and you don't have quite the right angle? Thank you, sir. So I had to make this triangular situation for a guy had asked me to make a nameplate thing that was all three sides and needed to be triangular, which meant 60-degree cuts. Well, the chainsaw only goes 45, 50 if you're lucky. So I started looking to see if I could get myself some kind of a jig to make that happen. So what I did is I looked online and this guy had created something like this. I decided to do this so I can hold the wood on easier. But then I can set this at any angle. So I just used my angle finder and then I put the holes in. And so what I did is I made a hole at the 60 so that when it goes across my table saw like that, now I can make the full 60-degree cut all the way down. And that way I could get that triangular look for that nameplate. It was just that, how do I do this on a side that's a length? And it was just, anyway. So I did that, and then I've got these so that I can angle it. And it's literally at any point. You can go almost to a 90 degrees or an 85 or whatever, but it's because the table saw's only going to go so far. So that's what I did.
My name's Stan, and the name's already been thrown out tonight. Jerry Stringer gave me this about a year and a half ago, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I finally decided to get it out last week, and it came out probably another 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and it was tapered, it was live edge. This is not going to work. Kind of like it's way too much yellow. So I trimmed it down. And then another member named Kevin Codrow helped me with it yesterday, and we epoxied it. I've been scared to epoxy. I mean, if I mess the wood up, I can fix it, but if I mess that epoxy up, that's a $100 bill gone. But I need some opinions. My daughter says a charcuterie board. I'm thinking a coat rack. That's what I'm thinking, make a coat rack out of it.
You make whatever you want. Make a good gun rack.
There you go.
All right. I won't be making LA boxes. So my friend Stanley gave me some beautiful bloodwood, and I made a shelf out of it, and then everybody made fun of me for making a shelf out of bloodwood. So Don gave me some beautiful crotch walnut, and they said I wasn't allowed to make a shelf out of it, so I made my very first box.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then with my new laser and Denny's help, I put my name on the top of it. But you can see how pretty this wood is. So it's not a shelf. And I did put some of Stanley's bloodwood on the side.
Nice.
And then Denny taught me in one day how to start using my laser. This is the first time I pulled it out. So lasered this guy. I told ChatGPT I needed a scary looking lion, and lasered it, and then I scroll sawed him out. So
That's super cool.
like the laser. That's fun.
So this is my first ingrain pattern, or patterned ingrain board I made. I call it my learning board because I made a lot of mistakes and I learned a lot. But it turned out really cool. Once I hit it with the oil and everything's popped and made all those frustrating times worth it. So, and then I did the juice groove on the CNC because I'm a cheater. So, but it turned out really nice. Yeah. And then the second thing is a little heart-shaped box that I also did on the CNC. Made it out of some scraps from another board that I had messed up. And I found it cool that I was able to repurpose it and, you know, other stuff. So.
No such thing as scraps, it's all undesignated material.
I'm putting that on my scrapbook.
Just remember, there are no mistakes, it's making memories.
That's right.
I made a lot of memories at least. So.
That's awesome.
A lot of memories.
Nice stuff.
2 or 3 years ago, Steve Andrews gave me a chunk of hackberry that was green. And I throwed it out in my driveway. And the other day, I picked up this rotted piece of wood and thought, maybe there's some solid stuff still inside. So I went to cutting, and I did find enough solid material that I made a couple of bowls. It spalted real nice, just laying there in the driveway. And then I cut out what I couldn't make. I managed to make 2 bowls, but I managed to cut a bunch of little pin blanks and make spalted pins out of it. But it was
That's
just-
new for you, making pins.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful making pins, but it was just a piece of wood. It was, most people would have probably chunked and burnt, but before I did anything with it, I cut it to see what the inside looked like. And I found enough solid material to make it. It's a little punky, it's a little rough, but it's still a beautiful gadget bowl.
So for anybody here who's seen my shop tour, I gave an explanation of one of the projects I did for a family. They had moved here from Honduras, and they brought their grandfather did this elaborate carving on the entryway door of their house in Honduras. When they emigrated here to the United States, they moved up into California. They took the door with them, and they've kept the door. And now one of the sons, he's my next door neighbor. He did a favor for me. I asked him, can I do something for you? He brought me this door. It was in horrible shape. The finish on it had, I don't know what happened to it, oxidized or something, but it looked rough and it looked horrible, but you could still tell that there was this nice artwork inside. So what I did was I took the door apart, the upper panel and the lower panel. The upper panel had carving of culturally significant things, and the bottom panel had a carving of the official crest of the state of Honduras with some historical figures. And I took the rest of the lumber on the door and made a frame and put a rosette in each corner so he could have 2 wall hangings that he could give to his sons.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll pass these around so you can look at them.
That's amazing.
So what did those measure?
This one's the tallest one. It's this tall, like regular door, right? And this was the bottom frame, so it was slightly sloped. It was about 9 inches shorter than the top one. But picture a 7-foot door, right? This was the top part, this was the bottom part, and the door looked like that from the inside of their house. And he was funny when he came over to pick it up. There's detail in this carving that he couldn't see until I stripped the finish off that was decrepit on it and stuff. There's detail in here that he never knew was there. So I'll pass these around.
This is actually the first project I bought from years ago. But I thought since we had so many new people, I'm sure we did. This is built in stages. You've got bandsaw boxes up here. You've got the salvage box doors. Built those, then put them together, wrapped it in sheets, and put the column back on it.
Because he doesn't. It's got a combination. Wow.
That's the reason that I had to put foot on it, to give it a bigger footprint, some bottom weight, because if you let that door off like that, don't the whole thing fall off.
That's beautiful.
Got the little tray with cabinet underneath that. It's a little two out of there.
Wow. That's amazing.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I made a box. I actually, for the new members, join the Facebook group. Super great because you can ask for advice and you get advice from all these guys. I was looking for a set of nice hinges for my box, and Gary said, no hinges, make a sliding top. So, I made a sliding top.
Nice.
It's my first attempt at something like this, but it worked out pretty good. It's just to hold our cards and stuff. We play lots of card games at home and needed somewhere to put them.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm addicted to woodworking. Hi, Kevin. So, one thing that I can do really well is I can lose anything in my shop. It doesn't matter how big or how small, including natural gloves. I was on Facebook one time and I saw that these people had made a box to drop their gloves in. That way you just come up there, grab one, take off. This is still hanging on the wall. Or if you got it on your bench, it's still, but you got to designate a place on your bench. But I drilled a hole back here to mount it to the wall. If you see these dowels right here, there's a really cool dowel. It's a little bitty thing. It's called Miller's dowel or a Miller dowel, and it's tapered. But when you get this, you have to buy their drill bit also, which is also tapered, and and it's got a stopping point. Once you get to that stopping point, you drive this in, and it's almost flush when you drive it in. And it's ribbed to capture the glue. And it's more decorative than I think it is structural, but it makes a real pretty edge, I think. So, when you turn it around like this, this is just butt joints. And you think, why did he put these strips right here? Well, when I put my floor in, you can see my grooves right here. And so I didn't try to hide these, but I was hiding those holes right there because I went too far. But that was to hold my floor in. I know where my gloves are now, and so this was really handy to build something I found on Facebook.
That's super cool.
My name is Matt Jones. I joined in fall of 2024. Recently, a friend gave me a router table without a fence on it. Took it up to Rockler, they were very helpful. Got a couple of knobs for it. $12.99 a piece, but I did get the discount. That's a nice knob. After watching Jerry here last month, he showed us how to make a knob. I probably got 15 cents into this one, and I like it better. It feels better. But the amount of talent and the willingness to share in this room makes this a special place. So thank you very much for that. And one more quick thing. I won this at a raffle several months ago. I've always been under the impression that if it can hurt you, it's okay to be scared. But took it home, sat for several months, got out the benchtop table saw, read the instructions, put it together. This thing is better than sliced bread. This is unbelievable. It makes you comfortable, it makes you safe. I haven't cut any veneers with it yet, but small stuff, it's a whole different experience. So this was a great win at the last raffle several months ago, but this thing has been a joy to use.
Thank you. I'm Walter Patton. Been a member here. I guess I was one of the originals to start this club up. But I have received, a friend of mine gave me some wood that he couldn't identify. I can't identify it, but came in on a shipping crate from overseas somewhere. No telling what it is, but it's a box. It's even got a piece of candy in it already. Forgot that was in there. But yeah, just piddling in the shop when I can't hardly walk by my lathe without putting something on there and turning it. That's a result.
The disease is strong.
What finish is on it? What finish is on it?
Lacquer, gray lacquer.
It's a shiny finish.
I had this chunk of wood. It's in my shop for years. And took it and then cut off the corners, put it on my lathe, get it round and flat. And then I mounted on my CNC and did the letters or the numbers. And then also the pocket for the clock. And then I put some old rolls and hot glue it and 18 gauge pin nail.
Nice.
Matter of fact, I think that was what Stanley gave me.
Oh, wow.
And then I had this piece of wood for years. And I think Ron, he came in my shop. And I was going to give that to him. And he goes, he looked at me and goes, I'm going to get a clock out of it. So I thought about it for a couple days. And I flattened the bottom and put on my CNC and carved it out. And also the
Nice.
black on poly for the finish.
Jeff White, President, told my wife that you can call me El Presidente. She said, shut up, jackass. I don't want any more cutting boards. I've made 100 cutting boards, but this one I'm very, very proud of. I took extra care in making all of my squares perpendicular, and
That's super cool.
I got Jerry Stringer to laser the drawer lining, it's like a fake leather thing. saw it on Facebook, said I can do that. Well, it's probably about $200 with walnut here and about 20 hours of my time. I give myself a B+ on it. Thank you.